Welcome back to Pop Flashback as we take a deep dive into, well, the birth of the superhero genre.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, it really seems like you can trace it all back to one very specific moment. The first appearance of course, Superman in Action Comics #1.
Action Comics #1, a true landmark.
Published on April 18th, 1938. And it feels like it wasn't just introducing, this iconic character, but it really did, launch this whole phenomenon, the superhero craze that we still see today.
It's amazing to think about, isn't it, how this single comic book really did lay the groundwork for so much of what we know and love about superheroes.
It's wild.
And when you think about it, Action Comics #1, it introduced us to, well, everything. I mean, there's Kal-El, born on the planet Krypton, a planet on the brink of destruction. And his parents, Jor-El and Lara, they had to make this impossible choice, didn't they? To send their baby son rocketing towards Earth in this tiny spaceship.
It's such a powerful image, this little spaceship hurtling through space with baby Kal-El landing here on Earth, And where does he land? Smallville, Kansas.
Right, of all places. Smallville.
And he's found by these farmers, Jonathan and Martha Kent, and they raise him as their own, Clark.
And as Clark grows up, he starts developing these incredible powers, right? Strength, invulnerability. It becomes clear that he's not an ordinary boy.
Not at all.
But what's so important, I think, is how his adoptive parents encourage him. They tell him to use his powers for good, to help people.
And that's when Clark becomes Superman, decides to become a crime-fighting vigilante, fighting for truth, justice, and all those good things. And of course, he has to have that secret identity to protect himself and those he loves.
Right. So he becomes Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for the Daily Planet in Metropolis. Such a classic setup.
It's brilliant, isn't it? It's like the perfect cover.
And let's not forget, Action Comics #1 also introduced us to some of the key players in Superman's world.
Oh yeah, the supporting characters, so crucial.
You've got Lois Lane, this intrepid reporter. You've got Jimmy Olsen, that eager young photographer. And of course, Perry White, the tough but lovable editor. They all add so much to the Superman mythos.
They really do. And, while Superman started out fighting, pretty ordinary criminals like gangsters, corrupt politicians, that kind of thing, it wasn't long before he started facing, well, some pretty formidable villains.
Oh, absolutely. You can't have a superhero without supervillains.
Yes, exactly.
And Superman has some of the best.
The best.
Lex Luthor, this brilliant criminal mastermind, Brainiac, the alien superintelligence. It's like, brains versus brawn, good versus evil, just epic showdowns.
They really are epic. So looking at the bigger picture, Superman truly set the standard for what a superhero is, right?
Absolutely. He's the archetype, the secret identity, the costume, the code name, and most importantly, that unwavering commitment to using his powers for good. While there might have been characters before Superman who had some of these elements, he's the one who put it all together.
And it was a hit. Action Comics #1 was a massive success. And you could say it ushered in the golden age of comics, Roughly from 1938 to 1950, it sparked this whole wave of new superheroes.
And it's interesting to look at the creators, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. I mean, they were drawing inspiration from the pulp science fiction of their time.
Right. Like Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Carter of Mars, who was super strong on Mars because of the lower gravity.
Yeah.
Or Philip Wiley's Hugo Danner from the novel Gladiator. He had all these superhuman powers, too.
Exactly. It's like they were taking these existing ideas and shaping them into something new and exciting.
And then there's that brilliant concept of the dual identity. Clark Kent, the mild-mannered reporter, and Superman, the powerful hero. That wasn't completely new either.
Right. I mean, you can see echoes of that in characters like Zorro or the Scarlet Pimpernel. That hidden identity, creates suspense, adds humor. It's so effective.
And they even drew inspiration for Clark Kent's look from the comedian Harold Lloyd, right?
And for Superman's appearance, they were influenced by the swashbuckling athletic heroes that Douglas Fairbanks played in movies.
Yeah.
And even the name Metropolis. Well, that comes from the 1927 film Metropolis, of course.
So many influences all coming together to create this truly iconic character.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing for Siegel and Shuster. They actually tried to syndicate Superman as a newspaper strip early on, but it kept getting rejected. Editors wanted something more sensational.
Really?
Yeah, and that feedback actually pushed them to make Superman even more powerful, more heroic, which ultimately led to the character we know today.
Wow. So they kept at it. They finally found work with a publisher called National Allied Publications, which later became DC Comics.
And then in early 1938, after their Superman strip got rejected again, this time by the McClure newspaper syndicate, they got this fateful suggestion.
Oh.
Max Gaines from McClure suggested they submit Superman to Detective Comics for their new anthology comic, Action Comics.
So that's how it happened.
And thankfully for all of us, Jack Leibowitz and the folks at Detective Comics, they saw the potential. They asked for a 13-page story. And Siegel and Shuster, they were tired of rejections, right? They agreed, signed a contract, and they got, a whopping $130 for their work.
$130.
But here's the thing. That contract also gave the copyright to Detective Comics. It's a decision that would come back to haunt them later, but at the time, they just wanted to see their creation in print.
And it was a hit. Action Comics #1 was a huge success thanks to Superman.
It launched a legend, really. And since then, Superman has been published continuously by DC Comics. I mean, he's had his own title since 1939. And for decades, he was the best-selling superhero in comics.
And his influence goes way beyond comics, doesn't it? I mean, we've had radio shows, animated shorts, movie serials, and of course those blockbuster movies.
Absolutely. Starting with the Adventures of Superman radio show in 1940, those classic Paramount cartoons from the 40s, the 1948 serial with Kirk Alyn, and then that game-changing movie in 1978 with Christopher Reeve. That movie really, I think, paved the way for the superhero films we see today.
I think so, too.
And let's not forget the business side of things. That famous S-Shield was trademarked in 1938, and Superman Incorporated was established the following year to manage all these different ventures, the merchandise, the licensing, everything. It showed just how valuable Superman had become.
And as we mentioned earlier, Siegel and Shuster, they did regret signing away the copyright. It led to legal battles as they tried to regain control of their creation, which is kind of a sad chapter in the Superman story.
It is. It's a reminder that even behind these amazing stories, there are real people, and sometimes those people get, taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also fascinating to think about how Superman's story has resonated with people on such a deep level.
Yeah.
Some see him as a symbol of hope, a representation of the immigrant experience, coming to a new world, trying to fit in, but also holding on to your heritage.
That's a really interesting interpretation. And there are also those religious parallels, the Moses story, the baby's sent away to safety, raised in a new culture. Even his Kryptonian name, Kal-El, it's been linked to Hebrew phrases that mean voice of God. It's like there's so much more to this character than meets the eye.
There really is. It's amazing how much depth and meaning has been found in a character that started out, in a comic book all those years ago.
Well, that's the power of storytelling, isn't it?
It really is. So what do you think? What aspect of Superman's origins surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
And that's it for this episode of Pop Flashback.
Until next time.
Remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive. We'll catch you next time.